I got a discussing question. When I'm talking about my business, I have a confusing personal problem using I or we. I feel like I should use I because I'm a solopreneur, but so many people use we when they discuss their business that I tend to fall into the category of using we sometimes instead of I. Is that wrong? Is that a mistake?
No, I think because you're still
Well,
selling your
you
knowledge.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Sorry? What? Huh?
I said you're selling your knowledge to your clients. They're not. They're coming for you. That's what I always got, like the whole Rudy's Health and Fitness thing. Like they want to come for me. Like I have assistants that do the programs I've written up, but they're coming for me.
So,
So at least at this point, I even though I have an assistant that is an assistant trainer, I always say I. Sometimes I'll say we if I know she's going to be involved, but usually it's if it's Rudy's Health and Fitness, I tend to always pretty much say I unless I know my assistant's going to be involved in. Like if they're going to come the hours my assistant is helping me out, then I'll use more of a we. But other than that, it's usually I.
Johnny, what do you think?
well, I know when we had you had told me you had corrected me on the I and we, but like when I say we, I'm picturing the future of my business. But I guess at the current moment, it is I.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just I know I picked the reason why I picked it out in what you said before. I think maybe I said it is because I go through the same thing as well, and I'm just not sure.
Mhm.
Is it wrong if I say we? Is that bad? It's not
I
correct.
don't think so because even so, like I will say we because
Well,
I feel like I've developed my training techniques along with my clients. It's like I know how to train people in their 40s because I've had this group of 40-ish, 40 something people to experiment with, and they've put their trust in my knowledge and everybody has benefited. So sometimes I'll say, this is what we do here for this because, for people's knees or for people's shoulders, this is what we do, we as the group here, the class, you know. So, because I have a pretty close knit community, I don't have a lot of turnover. I mean, most of my clients I've had for years. I have clients I've had for like 10 years. So I will include them. Like I do say that yes, my place is more of a community than a lot of places. It's very close knit. People know each other. Like I said, my one client when she had chemo and stuff, everybody donated grocery gift cards and different things to her and her husband to make sure that he didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. Uh, Very close knit, so I will tend to say we for certain things, but it's because it is more of a interactive group that I have.
Okay, cool, cool. Any other things kicking
I mean,
around?
because you said you tell your students what's what, and I do the same thing. But I mean, you look at student trends, and certain teaching techniques work a little better than others. I'm assuming they'll understand something when you say it one way versus another. So I mean, that's still collaborative, I would think, where like you can go ahead and say we. This is how we teach this type of thing. I could see that making sense.
Okay, I'm going to be quiet now and listen to whatever anybody else says.
but you can also say, but whenever you say we, though, you can also be meaning you and your peers, or you or other people that teach English at a high level. You guys are the we.
Yeah, I often think of my students as part of the we as well.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll think of other trainers like not trainers, but say my mentors, people that I've studied. Mike Boyle is a big guy that I always take a look at. Uh, Things that he's developed as kind of where some of my weeds will come from. Well, there's certain things that we know that the body can do. under a certain amount of load. It's like I'll use the we for that, because I know it's something that I've learned from him. So, or from science, just general science, whatever.
Okay. Rudy, you had something you wanted to mention in the post discussion?
Well, I kind of mentioned it. Like I said, I, I'm not abandoning the parent group, but yeah, I just feel like I stepped down from the volunteering on that. Do I want to go ahead and do?
Excuse me while I die.
I mean, do I want to still volunteer? Well, yeah, I would love to, but I want to make sure that it's worthwhile, that people actually care. I was very impressed, Johnny. I don't. Are you? Is your group still part of the challenge, or you guys stepped out? You said.
We're doing our own challenge. We're
Yeah,
we're we're beta testing a goal challenge.
yeah. So for me, I thought it was 4 weeks, and then we're done, which I thought we were done last week, and now people are still reporting like throughout the week. My I was really happy. My group still reported all on Sunday because they know it's important for me to report Sunday when we're supposed to. But it was over, but they still reported. So I'm like, hey, more power to
Yeah.
you. We're not, the challenge is over, but you guys still reported in. This is good. And I will continue. We'll continue to encourage you guys to maintain your goals. I said I may go ahead and start doing my own thing as far as resources that you can use. I will let you know because I do have you can't see my authentic grind ethic T-shirt. Let's go down here. Authentic grind ethic, which is the name of my team.
Oh,
I have
cool.
I have a Facebook page, authentic grind ethic. So I told them if you guys want to do something on that page, I said I'm not looking to make you guys paying clients at all. This is just for us to get organized, and I think some of the other teams have their own pages too now. So uh, that's what I'll end up doing more so than doing anything with the absent administration there. I mean, who knows what they want? So I just want my volunteer hours to go to people that find it uh,
So you made your T-shirt
productive,
for you or everyone?
just for me, just for
How many
me,
T-shirts did you make?
just one.
So you went to a screen printer and said, "Hey, I want this on there."
Well, I've been trying different companies for my gym too. So I just tried a different company. I said, well, let me do this one because it does say Rudy's Health and Fitness on the bottom. It's not, and that's why I couldn't really show it that much on the parent site because you can't promote your company, which I'm actually all for.
You can't even promote
You
their
know,
company.
you can't even promote their company. Yeah. So, but yeah, today was like a kind of a first step out of the
The loop.
fog. Yeah.
Fog, fog,
Like
fog.
and it's funny because the other two guys that follow, I could see them following the chat. Like they weren't saying anything, but they were like listening to me and Ramel. And I said I'm going to give Ramel two comments. I'm going to let her comment twice, and I'm not going to go beyond that. And I haven't. So she's kind of, but she basically said, well, if you want to do your own thing, that's on you. I knew she wasn't going to agree, but she said I don't agree with what you're doing
Oh,
because we have good resources here. But
but then
you don't agree with anything I'm doing.
but then Rudy left. But then Rudy left. He was all enthusiastic at the beginning, and then he just left. And oh my, oh, oh, oh
Yeah.
dear.
He's not 120. He didn't get to the spot. He did not execute.
No, he's
Whatever.
just 119 and three quarters. Right?
Yeah, that's a good shirt. 119 and three quarters. That would be funny.
And satisfied. Yeah, that's enough. Exactly. That's enough. Oh my God. Um,
But everything's else good. I tell you, I don't know if you joined yet or not, Graham. The Ryan Lee site. It's blowing up. the resources there are amazing. Like for any online stuff you want to do, it's just I can't even keep up with the amount of stuff, the new content they provide, let alone just getting on Facebook and seeing what everyone else is doing, with it, is phenomenal. It's they're doing a fantastic job.
What's the
It's
basic
really.
monthly price again? I am going to join it. I am 100% going to join it.
I think it's only one price for everybody. There's only one tier, and it's $29 American dollars, whatever that comes out to.
Yeah, so that's it's $1 a
$29.
day. Is right. It's
Yeah,
nothing.
dollar
It's
a day.
nothing.
That's what he
It's
says.
nothing if you.
Dollar, fuck a day.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
nothing if you look at it in that from that
yeah,
perspective.
and yeah, it's a new tutorial every day on some aspect of marketing or producing content or whatever you need. Tutorials on getting resources to delegate uh, small jobs to other places. Just the whole gamut. Like he's been in the business long enough now where yeah he has this pool of people he draws from now. So good to see.
Yes.
And I'll continue on our old parent site again. I have people that I like to follow. But as far as volunteering, if there's something worthwhile, I'll definitely volunteer. But it has to be something worthwhile.
Absolutely. You have to get something back from it. If you're not getting anything back from it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I want to be helping people. If nobody's being helped, there's no reason to volunteer for it.
Johnny, are you still doing the Tony Robbins stuff? Are you still doing the Tony Robbins stuff, mate?
No, I left my group.
Ooh, was that
Um,
recently?
and so that yeah, I just left them last Tuesday.
Okay, and do you want to share with us a bit more about that?
Well, I mean, it was basically it it was on Tuesday evenings at 6:30, and I just felt that um, I don't know, it's a couple of things. I mean, one, we as students, we have to rotate teaching stuff because someone's got to bring content. So someone actually, takes something out of one of Tony's books and teaches it. And it's a lot of work to do that. And I didn't really feel like anything I was teaching people would do. And like, for example, like I tried to create like a Facebook group with that Tony Robbins group so we can kind of share and intermingle outside of it. And like no one joined. And I said didn't really, I kind of lost faith in what people were doing. I thought that they weren't doing enough, and so yeah, I just lost. And too, I have a really good friend, that one that I have accountability with at 5 a.m. in the morning. She was in the group, and she's really an action taker. She left in January, and then I kind of felt like the group kind of tanked from there. It just wasn't as exciting anymore as it wasn't, because we try and dance at the beginning and stuff and raise energy level, and I just didn't feel people were 120. So yeah, I just told them I was out, and also too, I mean, legitimately, I'm 2 hours here. I can't be 3 hours there. I gotta, um, you know, so that's my spiel.
Yeah.
Would you feel that this is more beneficial for you than that, or how would you compare these two things?
Oh,
You love us
absolutely,
more,
yeah,
don't you?
absolutely. I think it's a lot more
Well, you
beneficial.
love us. Yeah. Who do you love
No,
more?
I think it's a lot more beneficial. I mean, for for what, and there were some nuggets that I got out of there, but it wasn't consistent. I got more aha moments out of there, but they weren't consistent to where I think I get consistent, you know, useful ideas from this group.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel smaller groups work for me because, I mean, introverted the whole deal. It's like I'd rather engage two or three people than create try and create a wave of enthusiasm across a larger audience. I don't get anything out of that. You know.
Excuse me, I'm just reading. Oh, would you like one? Help yourself, guys.
Yeah, those look really good actually.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So yeah, I mean, I recommend it for anybody to do the smaller groups. I think they're just more effective, more time for each person to participate.
How big was the group, Johnny?
Oh, it was only like 10 to 12.
And each person.
But it was like sometimes I would work really hard, and each person leads. So you're leading about 4 times per year. But I just felt like I would put together this great presentation, and then no one there'd be 4 people there, and I'm just like, I spent half a day or a day even on this,
What do you mean only four people
and
there? Where,
and I just
where were
thought,
the where
so
were the
so
rest
and
of
that
them?
included.
Where were the rest of them if there was only four people there?
It was, yeah, there's, I mean, people can't make all of them, but you're, and that was kind of one of the things too. People kind of came in, and then there wasn't any rules anymore. There wasn't any leadership, because before it used to be like, hey, over a 6 month period, you can only miss two. You must commit, and then but then the leadership stopped, and then so people kind of came in and joined the group, but they were kind of coming and going, and so.
Yeah, I think everything has its time, and sometimes like with a business, like we've talked about this, you have to reinvent yourself. If you don't reinvent yourself, it just starts to peter out into mediocrity. Uh, so like even with what we're doing here, I think that the dynamic changed when Jackie left, but I think the testosterone got turned up even more. So I think we've been riding that wave for a while. So we just have to stay focused. Like I said, I'm Graham's. We're all three good at different aspects. I just feel like we're good at motivating each other. Johnny's really good at accountability and organization. Graham's good at recording a lot of things and making sure there's nothing left behind. And I just I just like being a fan of the two of you, and I like hearing what you guys are doing, and then that
Hmm.
kind of pumps me up to do stuff that I have to do. Because, like I said, I feel like I'm really only at 30 or 40% of what I could be making right now as far as just the gym itself.
Well, when I basically closed down my school for 2 days, but make a bigger effort to get to this meeting and get this meeting sorted and spend time with you guys, that tells you how much I value this compared to other things.
Yeah, we'll just keep it up. I think we're doing fine. Johnny's progressed. I think we're all progressing. Graham, you've got two things you need to do: finish the book, and if you are at capacity with your business, take that next step.
Yeah, I got lectured by one of my students on Monday on the very same thing. He said exactly the same thing as you say now and have said before. He said exactly the same thing to me.
That's why I want to get more into this whole magazine thing, because it's not necessarily to do topics that we might be interested in. It's like, let's start producing those tutorials that we need to produce. Let's do the SEO and post them in the right places so they get seen globally. So we start to get a global audience of people that may be interested in the types of things we want to do. Because if there's some kid from India who wants to become a trainer and he's not sure what's going on, and he's like, okay, I don't have people skills. How do I talk to people? And he comes across my tutorials. That's my audience. If it took me getting all the way to India for this one kid to hear it, there's going to be more somewhere else. So I just got to get that exposure out there. I have to learn how to get that exposure out there.
Yeah, well,
And if you join freedom.com, you will learn in a lot of those things. I still have to go over a lot of YouTube marketing and all that stuff.
is it possible to do a magazine kind of format where we do like some topic which is of interest to both of us, kind of thing, where
Yeah,
we're discussing elements of fitness, elements of business, elements of physical health and mental health, elements of education, learning, and things where we can kind of blend it together.
it could be anything because the thing that we do is, well, for me, I would say I'm fairly well versed in this now. It's like I didn't I got my degree in history from UCLA. I didn't get my degree in science. I studied the movements of people, the events of people, and I've told people they're like, well, how do you use that with what you do now? And I'm like, well, I know people, I know backgrounds, I know people came to this country in different ways, and so when I talk to people, the fitness part is just the technical aspect. I've got that. Uh, but just like what I do with my tutorials, what I'm trying to do is you build that rapport with your client. You find the commonalities. You find those things that they are interested in and aren't going to be too passionate about because you have to focus on the actual work. But you find some common subject matter so that you build that rapport and they look forward to talking to you about the football game or the TV show or something that happened locally in Long Beach or something. You're going to find that commonality or what their kids did. You told them when they turned 5 they were going to be like this. It could be anything, but for me it's finding that rapport. So anything you want to talk about, I'm going to have some type of opinion. I'm either going to be Sherlock Holmes or Watson. I'm going to be asking or you're going to be explaining, one or the other. you know. So whatever you want to do, it's just a matter of practicing. I think that's what I want to do. It can be any subject.
Johnny, what are your thoughts listening to us talk about it? Apart from the fact your dog is probably hungry and needs to be fed.
No, I'm not at home. My dog's fine. My cat's fine. No, I think I really don't have any comments. I mean, I'm listening, but at the same time, I'm not seeing how it applies to me, so I don't really. I'm trying to see
Well,
how it could apply to me,
yeah,
but
I've mentioned it a few times. I mean, do you think that's a good idea? The 5 minutes of financial freedom for your
oh
clients,
yeah,
or
no. Now that you mention it, it is. There's just I have to find out what I can talk about when I can't talk about. Um, that that's the only that's the only thing. But I think that's not what really you're talking about. I mean the Facebook time, whatever you call it, is one thing. But you guys are talking about doing a kind of a either a podcast or a Facebook time session for people.
I'm talking about doing a live
no,
session.
Sure,
yeah,
yeah, live session. And so in terms of me, I'm not really sure. Well, one thing, I mean, I'm just thinking, again, going back to my Tony Robbins group, that to do this 30 minutes or however long you guys want to do it, I would have to really prepare to be really good. And then, what do I get, back out of it? And then I'm thinking too, you guys could get really big and famous, and I could be like the fifth Beatle that that had the chance to be a Beatle, but
but no,
went
that's
and opened
that
a car lot or something. He
yeah,
said,
that's what I see. Like for you especially, it's like I'm telling you, like I am the small man. If you got on every morning, not that I'd be able to see every morning, but then it would be recorded and I could watch it again. What's going on? And then especially with the live stream, people can ask questions. It's like, do you like, well, Johnny, do you think this is for me? And you can look and you can say, well, let me get back because you can review the comments after you're done with the session.
mm.
Okay, so you don't have to answer them all in that 5 minutes, however long you're going to do. But the engagement is there, so that again, I think it helps with retention more than anything. But that's the start of a larger way to have like webinars, whatever else, whatever way you want to go to get a larger amount of clientele.
Yeah, no,
I don't,
yeah, I'm
but you
just
got to start
thinking.
somewhere. You got to
Yeah,
start somewhere.
exactly. No, but I'm kind of thinking more on like, like I'm not the Kramer type that's giving out 10 different, stock ideas in 30 minutes. I mean, and also too, if they're really good ideas, I really don't want anyone to know until after I've invested in them, so that they buy them. But then at the same time, I'm not sure um, how that is. No, I guess I don't know. I think I hear what you're saying. It's just what I talk about just can't be. It has to be more planned out, on my topics,
I
because there
think
are
part of it is
regulations.
this. I mean, what honestly, what you should do, I feel, is like I said, I'm potentially one of your customers. So what do I need? Well, I need to get educated. So even if you do like a 5 minute, uh, investment 101, what do you need? How much do you need to start? What is your expectation the first month, the first year, the first 5 years? Just just break it down into 5 minute little tutorials on
Hmm.
these things, and you can record them. And like these are like breathing to you. If you sat down with a new client and I asked you 10 questions, you'd have the answers to all these basic things right off the top of your head. You don't need to prepare for them
Yeah.
that much. So just doing those little ones, and you don't even have to do them live. Just have them produced and accessible to potential clients, or people that aren't sure about certain things. It's like, well, go on my website, take a look at this section. If you have any questions other than what I already explained in those videos or whatever, come back to me and we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about where you want your investments to go. I mean, I could see that's something I would like. Like if I finally had enough money to start investing, and then you could say, well, you do, Rudy. Look at this video, and it'll explain why. You only have to invest 3 cents a day. So I can go to that. But see, that's where you're leaving money on the table. All this primary knowledge you have about the market that I have no knowledge about. You could produce videos off the top of your head right now explaining the very basics. You
Hmm.
know, and it would take you just like it took me. It took me 3 hours to do um, 7 tutorials on training, to set them up, do the whole deal, and it's done. It's in the can. The information is there. So it may not be a priority for you right now, but as far as long-term success, having content, just like Graham sees that value, is having content and building on that content helps with the marketing, especially online because it can become global. You know, at least national, depending on, like I said, there's certain laws and international laws as far as investing and all that, which I don't know anything about. But just having that content, I think, is going to help attract more
Well,
clients to you. Because I would be into
let me
interested in learning about themselves.
let me run a little possible challenge to Johnny then, just to finish, which is that why don't you try a little post on the all actions all results page, just for me and Rudy. Just try a little between 2 to 5 minutes on. This is Costa in the kitchen with the cat. I'm having breakfast, and this is what I'm thinking about in terms of money today. Blah blah blah,
On the
blah
tractor,
blah blah. I mean, the tractor's another level. I mean, the tractor's just a higher level of thinking, basically. So, and
yeah.
and it might be more difficult to get on the tractor every day, but just do a little uh, do a little blast and post it on the page, and we'll give you some feedback next week uh, on what's what's good and what's bad about it. And you know what?
All
it's only
right.
gonna take you 5 minutes because we
I'll test it.
we
Go
we
ahead.
think you don't need to prepare that much for it, right? You're talking about all
Well,
this
look at it.
preparation.
You could look at it this way. I mean, Graham, do you have any investments? Are you
No, I'm
well versed in?
I'm unversed. I'm none-versed.
So again, that's exactly like do a video for Graham and I. Like, what do we need to do to get started?
Okay, I will. I'll do it for you guys.
And then from that, just like with Graham, he goes back and he sees things in the videos like, oh yeah, I get it now. This is good.
Yeah, do.
And that's what I did with my videos. I recorded those 7 tutorials. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I want to do for the next one.
Yeah,
So,
don't look. Don't prepare for more than. Don't spend more than 2 minutes on preparation for it. Okay.
Okay.
Don't spend more than 2 minutes on prep. Just get an A4 sheet of paper, write down a few basic things that are in your head that you can talk about on the paper, and then just bang. It's Johnny. I'm here. This is what I think about. This is what I'm thinking about at this moment in time. Sharing it with you. There we go.
no, yeah. If we walked into your office right then and there and said, yeah, we heard you were good. Why should we start trying to invest? That's it right
Okay.
Yeah. And more
there.
than more than all of the details being correct at this point in time, I think what we're looking for is just somebody who's confident about what they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
So don't worry about those details. Just, you know, give us it, and I think if it comes from the heart, it's going to be okay.
yeah. And I think that's where you're good. When you're off the cuff, when you want to deliver a message, like I've told you before, like you come up with some gems as far as the way that you describe certain things, and that's not none of that was planned. So,
Okay.
Like, did you
all right, I'm
did you
gonna,
plan no actions, no results? Did you plan to say that? See,
yeah,
you didn't plan that. That was
yeah, exactly.
that was class, right? That was class.
I'm gonna sign out because I gotta get to the gym. So
Good.
another good session,
Okay.
Please,
gentlemen.
please,
Feel better,
please,
Graham.
please, people,
Looking forward to your video. Yeah.
please, people, finish now
Brad,
because my legs are going now.
I will work on getting my whiteboard or post-its or whatever it is. I will have
You can get
some
get
results,
get the
some
whiteboard.
actions,
Get
some
the
results.
whiteboard because you can then put the post-its on the whiteboard
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Have a
guys.
great week,
Cool.
guys.
Take care.
Give it all.
All right, you
I will
too,
Speak
man.
to you
Thanks.
talking
soon.
to you.
See you guys.